If you don't pay for a product, then you're definitely the product. This means that Facebook has made apps like Instagram and WhatsApp available for free and earns money by collecting your data and selling it to the advertising department. The dark side of WhatsApp. Hidden secrets of WhatsApp you didn't know. If you're not paying for the product, you're the product. You're being programmed. How does WhatsApp make money? What started out as a simple business model led me down a rabbit hole, much darker than would have imagined, that affects every single one of us. But to make sense of all this, we need to travel back in time. The birth of WhatsApp, 2009. It's 2009. The iPhone came out a couple of years ago, and the world is getting to grips with this new concept of smartphone apps. Facebook is rapidly gaining momentum, and when a guy called Brian Acton applies for the job, he gets turned down. But he says he's looking forward to life's next adventure. And that adventure would come just a couple of months later when Brian and his friend Jan Kumbe had a smartphone app of their own, WhatsApp. It was initially designed as a way for people to update their status, but once they introduced private messaging, the app started to gain popularity very quickly. Because at that time, traditional texting was still quite expensive, whereas WhatsApp was offering global instant messaging completely free. The money problem, 2010. Now, free applications normally make money in at least one of three ways: advertising, in-app purchases, selling your data. But the WhatsApp founders hate ads and left their previous jobs at Yahoo because of disagreement over the extensive use of the advertising. They even made a post on the official WhatsApp blog about why they hate ads. So that wasn't an option. But they also didn't want to start charging people to use free features in the app. The reason they started this in the first place was simply because they wanted to build a great product that people wanted to use. Trying to make the product better was the priority, and option 3, selling the data, was a total non-starter as well. They were simply using the original seed funding they'd been given by some wealthy friends at Yahoo and keeping costs to an absolute minimum. To save money, the WhatsApp team even worked off cheap IKEA tables and wore blankets for worms. If you picture the stereotypical Silicon Valley startup looking to grow as quickly as possible and make millions, WhatsApp was the opposite. But inevitably, as more and more people downloaded the app and more features were introduced like picture messages, WhatsApp needed some revenue to invest in services and hire a bigger team. So WhatsApp introduced a $1 fee. In some countries, you had to pay this upfront to buy the app, whilst in other countries, you got the app for free for a year and then you had to pay $1 a year after that to keep it. What's interesting about this is that the $1 fee wasn't actually enforced all that often. If anyone didn't pay the $1 renewal at the end of each year, WhatsApp would normally just let them keep the app for free. Anyway, it was almost as if the fee was more of a voluntary donation. As crazy as that sounds, it worked fairly well. It meant they didn't alienate their users and enough people did pay the $1 fee. WhatsApp was able to keep running smoothly for quite a while. After all, $1 a year for such a convenient app was well worth it to many people if it meant they didn't have to do any of this. Of course, whilst the $1 fee did bring in some much needed revenue for WhatsApp, it was mainly just to cover their costs. They still weren't very profitable with such a small fee, but strangely that didn't matter. The business model 2011. Tech companies exist in a very strange realm where you can be worth vast sums of money even if you're not profitable and have no clear plan to make money. If you got lots of users, investors see the potential. The reason the WhatsApp founders were reluctant to take on new investors in the beginning was that they were worried the investors would like to push heavier monetization and compromise quality of the apps. However, soon WhatsApp was growing so fast that investment companies like Sequoia Capital started offering them millions of dollars and agreeing to whatever terms WhatsApp wanted, which meant the investors wouldn't interfere with the app or make them implement ads, and WhatsApp would get a big cash injection. And herein lies the revenue strategy WhatsApp used for a while: get investment. So rather than trying to get more money out of users, let's just invest in making our app the best it can be, which will bring in more users, which will then bring in more investors, and the cycle repeated. Seriously, that was their plan, and it worked out great for everyone. So by not cashing in and plastering it with ads or lots of paid features, WhatsApp could grow much quicker because people would tell their friends and family about the app. And so the user count would keep rising, and thus they kept attracting more investors, giving WhatsApp even more money to improve the user experience further. Of course, there is one big problem with this strategy. You can't rely on investors forever. At some point, they'll want to see if the company has a profitable business model. Well, unless of course you just sell the app for a huge payout. The acquisition, 2014. Facebook buys WhatsApp for a whopping $19 billion. At that time, a lot of people were confused by this sale, with many people baffled by the figure. In fact, there is data to suggest that in the 9 months prior to Facebook acquisition, WhatsApp had just generated $1.2 million in revenue, and thus it was making a huge loss. So why would Facebook be buying it for $19 billion? For context, they bought Instagram for $1 billion. Or for comparison, that kind of money could fund about 20 Mars missions or build 13 Burj Khalifa. Instead, Facebook bought a messaging app with very similar feature to their own messaging app that had relatively low revenue and was quite probably making a loss every single year. Why? Hearing Zuckerberg talk about this energy between Facebook and WhatsApp sets off alarm bells. For many people, after all, Facebook's whole business model is collecting your data, then using that to show limitless personalized ads in your face at every opportunity. Pretty much everything WhatsApp was meant to stand against. Plus, Facebook has a terrible track record when it comes to privacy, such as the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where millions of Facebook users had their data taken and used against them without their consent. Not just that, but in a leaked private message from the very early days of Facebook, Zuckerberg allegedly told a friend that if they ever needed information about anyone at Harvard, just ask, as he has over 4,000 email pictures and addresses. When the friend asked how, Zuckerberg said, "People just submitted it. I don't know why. They trust me." Since then, Facebook has gone on to have numerous scandals involving privacy, security, and data, which always end in the same way. And then after that, everything just carried on as normal. However, Zuckerberg promised the WhatsApp founders that they could continue to operate independently from Facebook and there be zero pressure to monetize. So, what could go wrong? 2016. Free. In a blog post in 2016, WhatsApp announced that they would no longer charge a subscription fee, meaning the $1 fee that wasn't properly enforced anyway would be scrapped. This on the surface sounds great. Maybe Facebook really does just care about connecting with the world and they're happy to make a huge loss on WhatsApp and just not monetize it at all. But if we step out of dreamland and come back to reality, the truth becomes a lot clearer about why Facebook really bought WhatsApp and how they're monetizing it. First, Facebook was buying the users and their data. As one source points out, Facebook is in the surveillance business and in fact may be the biggest surveillance-based enterprise in the history of mankind. The more data Facebook has about users, the more powerful it becomes. And WhatsApp provided behavioral data, contact lists, and endlessly more personal information. Some have argued that WhatsApp was the missing link for Facebook as access to phone numbers now bridges the offline and online worlds of Facebook user, plus WhatsApp now has well over 1 billion users and still has a lot of growth opportunities. In fact, it leads the way in developing nations where Facebook's own messaging service isn't as popular. That was likely why Facebook scrapped $1 fee for WhatsApp users, because getting new users into the Facebook ecosystem is far more profitable for them than charging $1 each. Your data is worth much more to them than $1 a year, because the more data points they have about you, the more they can combine that with data from other sources and build an even clearer profile of exactly who you are, thus making it much easier to sell you things. And so by removing the fees, it removes any barriers for people to use the app and thus makes it easier to expand and eventually get the entire world using their services, which all become connected. However, another reason for Facebook's WhatsApp purchase was simply to stop the competition. Zuckerberg had heard that the WhatsApp founders have been invited to Google's Mountain View headquarters for talks. So he rushed to make them an offer they couldn't refuse, in order not to sell to a competitor. Facebook has a habit of doing this as a way to ensure they keep control of the attention. Hashtag delete Facebook 2017. In 2017, WhatsApp founder Brian Acton quit after a conflict with Zuckerberg regarding WhatsApp monetization and plans to share WhatsApp user data with Facebook. When he left, he lost out on an estimated $850 million in invested stock options. But clearly he couldn't be part of what was happening for a second longer. A year later, Brian began to get much more vocal about his Facebook concerns. He even tweeted, "It's time, hashtag delete Facebook." He then pounded $50 million of his own money into starting Signal, a rival messaging app with very similar features to WhatsApp, but that was a non-profit foundation that prioritized security and privacy. Essentially, he wanted to recreate WhatsApp in the pure idealized form it started. If you zoom out for a moment, you'll see what a crazy story arc that was for Brian Acton. First, he tries to get a job at Facebook and gets rejected, and so he builds his own app called WhatsApp. Years later, Facebook bought it for $19 billion and asked him to stay on as a Facebook employee. He then has a huge falling out with Facebook and quits. Finally, he uses some of the money from the WhatsApp sale to start a brand new rival app to compete with Facebook and WhatsApp. So while we can't publicly see the revenue data on WhatsApp, it seemed evident that WhatsApp is not making a profit right now. In fact, maybe never has. But because it's now owned by Facebook, they're in no rush to monetize directly. What matters to them is owning the user's data. As one source argued, that means the tentacles of Facebook are closer to reaching billions of people, and with a market that size, Facebook is sure to find a way to eventually cash in. But hold on a minute. You might be thinking, are you not getting a bit carried away here? Zuckerberg specifically said WhatsApp will continue to operate independently within Facebook and wouldn't be sharing information with Facebook. So there's nothing to worry about, right? Now, how exactly did it get to that point where Brian was willing to walk away from an extra $850 million just to get away from what Facebook was doing? Well, things started to get rocky when in May 2017, the European Commission fined Facebook £110 million for misleading it during the takeover of WhatsApp. Apparently, Facebook falsely claimed it was technically impossible to automatically combine user information from Facebook and WhatsApp. However, it was later revealed that not only was this possible, WhatsApp has shared your data with Facebook for years actually. This included sharing phone data from WhatsApp so it could be targeted by Facebook ads. Brian said he later found out that pretty much right from the beginning, Facebook had always planned to match people's WhatsApp numbers to their Facebook or Messenger accounts, so they could collect more data about them to show them more personalized adverts. A little while later, the other WhatsApp founder, Jane Kumbe, also quits. It later became clear that Facebook executives wanted to weaken WhatsApp encryption to make monetizing it easier. But perhaps what's most troubling of all is that I strongly believe that WhatsApp's encryption is already not as secure as it's made out to be. In recent years, Brian Acton has gone on to say, "I sold my users' privacy and made a choice and a compromise, and I live with that every day." And he's certainly not the only former employee to have spoken out against what the company is doing. Former head of growth, Kamos, once said, "We've created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works." In hindsight, Facebook acquiring WhatsApp was inevitably going to cause a clash. Facebook is one of the world's biggest advertising networks, and the WhatsApp founders hate ads. Facebook business is built around how much it knows about its users, and the WhatsApp founders were pro-privacy activists. And so it could be argued that deep down the WhatsApp founders must have known things were only going to end one way once they sold to Facebook. But put yourself in their shoes. You've been offered $19 billion for an app that isn't even profitable. Can you turn it down? The present day and future. Let's again return to the original question. How does WhatsApp make money? We know that in the early days they did this with the $1 fee. Then their business model became getting money from investors and eventually getting a big payout from Facebook. But now that Facebook owns the app, how are they making money from it right now? It's just from collecting our data, sharing it with Facebook and its affiliated businesses and then selling us things. Well, no. One other new way that they're looking to monetize WhatsApp is with WhatsApp Business, a service that helps businesses connect with customers and provide customer support. Several big tech companies like Netflix, Uber have already started trialing this service. What makes them money is if businesses don't reply to customers within 24 hours, so essentially charging them for late replies. And whilst this sounds kind of promising, I'm willing to bet you probably haven't even used this service before. And so I think it's reasonable to assume this alone is not going to make WhatsApp profitable anytime soon. Unfortunately, now that the $1 fee has gone, all those things WhatsApp originally tried to avoid look much more likely. A spokesperson for WhatsApp has already confirmed they plan to further monetize the app by introducing ads in the status section. Someone should probably tell them to remove the "why we don't sell ads" post from the WhatsApp blog first. But the truth is that whilst we may see more monetization happening directly within WhatsApp, the biggest value of WhatsApp to Facebook will always be the data and deeper integration between WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. In early 2021, concerns about this caused WhatsApp a lot of negative headlines. Essentially, because of Apple's new disclosure requirements, WhatsApp has to inform users about which of their data points may be shared with businesses and third parties they use. For WhatsApp, these things include 1. Phone number, 2. Profile picture, 3. Name, 4. Login activity, 5. Contact list, 6. Purchases, 7. Financial information about your phone, 8. Mobile company, 9. IP address, 10. Location. WhatsApp initially forced users to accept this by February 8th or were told they could no longer use the app ever again. In defense of WhatsApp and Facebook, it may be tempting to see this story as an attack on WhatsApp and Facebook, but that's honestly not the case. The truth is that this kind of data collection is not some conspiracy. It's fairly a standard practice that many companies do, whilst Facebook is particularly notorious. It's hypocritical of me to preach about privacy when this story is funded by advertisement. And honestly, I don't actually think companies collecting data to show you more targeted ads is inherently bad if they're transparent about it. If companies like HubPages, Google, or Facebook didn't do that, then free content like this probably wouldn't be possible. The reality is that WhatsApp is a great service and is genuinely helping to connect with the world. This story has had a dark tone, and if you're really worried about privacy and full transparency and the ever-growing power of Facebook, then you'll feel this dark story tone was appropriate. But many people may instead think this story is overly dramatic. Most businesses and apps collect, share, and often sell your data. Your local store's loyalty card tracks what you're buying and when. Cookies track every website page you visit. By comparison, the data WhatsApp collects perhaps isn't even that bad. What is really interesting here though is that most of us, myself included, have decided we're willing to give away so much information about ourselves in exchange for something free. However, when they received complaints, they postponed this until May 15th. They didn't change anything, just postponed the date you had to accept by, to try and let the backlash die down. What's arguably worse though is that this update wasn't even a change to their privacy policy. Apparently, this was just clarification of what WhatsApp had already been doing for years. Because of the new rules, they have to publicly announce it now, which may leave you wondering if they really are all these privacy concerns. So, why do people still trust WhatsApp? When this question was asked on Reddit, the answer was simple. They don't. Most people don't care about privacy. Of course, people are not private too, which is why, when asked about trusting WhatsApp, all the top comments are, "No, no way, I don't trust them." One popular post even listed 5 specific reasons to not use WhatsApp, mainly related to data sharing with Facebook. But once again, the network effect is at play here. It's difficult for other apps to fully compete because even if you want to switch to something like Signal, there is no point unless all your friends and family are using it as well. As one person summarized, by the time WhatsApp was acquired by Facebook, practically everyone in my circle was using it for everything, even work stuff. It's so deeply embedded into people's lives that you essentially had to pick between keeping your privacy or keeping in touch with the people around you. And yet, despite all of that, it's now time for a pretty major plot twist.